50% of all surgeries are now considered elective and unnecessary. Are we meant to work with less parts?
No.
No. Right. So, yep.
We were made fully. God gave us all the
Perfectly.
parts that we need.
Yep.
If you actually talk to a really good surgeon, and most people are not candidates
No.
for surgery,
No.
especially any type of back surgery.
Right.
Tummy issues.
Yeah.
And they've gone in
Yep.
and it's a gallbladder. Well, you don't need that gallbladder.
Exactly.
Or your
Well,
appendix.
that's the number 3 elective surgery, unnecessary surgery in the United States. So we're seeing a capitalistic approach to healthcare instead of build your body up, keep it healthy. And on the grand scheme of things, if you look at hospitals from a corporate perspective, a structured perspective, they're down 42% in profits.
But I thought
since
hospitals are
2020.
nonprofits.
Right. Hey everybody, welcome back to Prime Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Skip Wyss, and I am here as always again with the fabulously radiant Dr. Julie Wyss, old Dr. Fairy Fingers herself, BDC certified coach, probably one of the best business coaches I've ever met and had the pleasure of working with for 16 years. Hi, Dr. Julie. How are you today?
I'm great. Good morning.
Good morning. You're looking super pretty.
Thank
and
you.
you got the old, we got
nice
the
and
new,
warm.
another flag shirt on today, the old Spine Project again.
Tis
got
the season.
Golf outing coming up here in July 22nd. That'll be out at Royal St. Patrick's. That's going to be a fantastic event. Lots of all things Spine Project coming in these next 2 months. This is our big fundraiser season for the Spine Project. Super important for us. At the end of July, we will have done over $1 million in chiropractic care for veterans and their families. And we've had the pleasure of starting and running this charity for years. And my hat's off to you, Dr. Julie, because without your hard work, I wouldn't be able to do what I do.
Thank you.
Yeah. So today, delving into veterans care, interesting topic today. Let me ask you a question, Dr. Julie. You ready?
I think so.
Are we meant to work with less parts?
No.
No. Right. So do you think that when we were designed, created, and put together that we were just born with excess parts that weren't meant to be there?
No, we are not an IKEA box. We are not a, some parts sold separately, batteries not included.
Yep.
We were made fully. God gave us all of the parts that we need.
Yep.
No more, no less.
Yeah. Made to heal above, down, inside out, brain to body, body to brain, and then inside of the body outward to heal. And we were not made with more parts. We were not made with just excess things floating around. Do we have the ability to donate parts to people that are in need? Absolutely.
Yep, I was just thinking like kidneys, right? Like and I think that's where gosh, we were made to be able to in that instance of, okay, yes, a kidney. That's really kind of
the only
organ.
That's really kind of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
But or blood, right?
Yep.
That our body can replenish that we donate blood or plasma.
Yeah.
So like our body is magical. It is amazing that way.
Well, it's constantly healing itself.
Absolutely.
We get a brand new liver every 28 days. We get a brand new body every 7 years. All the cells completely reproliferate themselves, kill off old cells. We get brand new bone every day. We get bone that gets eaten away every day. Like the body's constantly changing. It's constantly adapting. It's constantly repairing. But the reason why we're talking about this today is that the amount of elective surgeries in the United States is at an all-time high ever since they've been documenting these statistics. It is higher now than what it was pre-COVID.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
Well, according to Forbes, according to the American Academy of Orthopedists, 50% of all surgeries are now considered elective and unnecessary.
Well, yeah,
post-COVID.
Post-COVID, but I'm looking at what does that mean from the insurance world? If it's elective, insurance doesn't pay for it. So that means these people are willingly having things removed from their bodies.
Yes, the number one elective surgery in the United States right now considered elective is laminectomies, discectomies, and low back degeneration surgeries to help fight degeneration of the low back. We know, and not to dovetail on this, but we know in chiropractic, there's been 30 years, if not 40, of studies on low back pain and how effective chiropractic is at getting the low back to heal over the course of 6 to 8 weeks. Like, those studies have been there for decades. Medicine is not blind to how effective chiropractic care is for low back pain. And us at Prime Family Chiropractic Centers, we don't concentrate on low back pain. That's not our game. We're not trying to always find people in pain. But we know that low back pain can be debilitating, can lead to eventually surgery if clinically warranted.
But like, that's where like my stomach is hurting right now. Because if 50% of the population is opting to do these things, if you actually talk to a really good surgeon and they're going to actually give you the full disclosure, most people are not candidates for surgery, especially any type of back surgery.
Right.
And like that is what like hurts me and like makes me sick to my stomach, that these people, so then if they're paying out of pocket, that's elective, insurance is not going to cover it.
Well, initially, it depends on documentation.
Correct, documentation. Right. But that if these people are being forced into this or fear that this is the only option for them, that they're going to do this surgery, and most times they have the surgery, it doesn't change it, and sometimes they're worse off.
Well, there's another stat that comes in on this, and we'll talk about that in a little bit because I want to talk about the monies behind it. But they are worse off. In fact, if you have a low back surgery and they cut into your low back and they do any sort of removal of bone, removal of disc, you are considered 1.5% to 3% disabled. That doesn't mean you can turn around and claim disability on insurance, but your body is actually considered a disability index of 1.5% to 3%. And that's the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons bringing out those stats. That's not Dr. Skip just making this stuff up. Like, and that's a big thing, is the number 2 elective surgery is hip and knees. So hip replacements, knee replacements, but again, degeneration and breakdown happening in people's upper 40s, early 50s and 60s, and not taking care of their body properly. I mean, we just went ad nauseum and talked about stretching the last podcast episode. Before that, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And now I find it funny that I'm on this topic and it dives in these last 3. Again, degeneration, arthritis, breakdown of joints, which is not actually a naturally occurring process in the body. It's not meant to happen during aging. Aberrant joint mechanics, aberrant position, your body's super smart, so it's going to build bone up in areas where it needs it for stability. But also that bone is extremely weak. It's not strong like normal bone that's making up the main ossifying centers of the joints. The main bulk of your bone isn't soft. But these little things that get put in, so if I need to add training wheels to the spine to get it to stabilize itself, which is what degeneration, osteophytes, bone spurs, arthritis, whatever you want to call it, is, if I'm adding that in, those are training wheels for your spine. But they're coming on instead of learning how to walk and taking training wheels off after you can ride a bike. We're actually adding them on because you become a worse bike rider as you've gotten older, which shouldn't be the case because your body's constantly learning, constantly adapting to stress. Therefore, it should be getting healthier and healthier as you age, not worse as you age.
Well, it's like, I know the answer to this, but it's kind of the question of, well, why is this happening?
Money. Flat out. And it's a big deal because we looked at the stats here coming out of Forbes as well. Forbes is an interesting magazine, but they do a lot of financial comparisons. And profits are down 42% since 2020, since COVID. So the 2 years that COVID had the lockdowns and all the things going on inside of it.
They had to cancel everything.
They had to cancel everything. You couldn't do elective surgeries, which actually led to people doing even more elective surgeries now. But on the grand scheme of things, if you look at hospitals from a corporate perspective, a structured perspective, they're down 42% in profits.
But I thought
since
hospitals are
2020.
nonprofits.
Right. Right. Well, that helps them in their taxabilities if they're a C corporation or
Well, I
whatever they
think
want
if
to
we
be.
talk about, so if we just step back for a second of, okay, if I don't want to do this elective surgery, or what is actually causing this arthritis, this degeneration, we could do a whole podcast on that.
Well, we kind of did.
But it's movement, it's
movement.
lack of movement. And so that's where our body begins to, it doesn't forget,
Mm-hmm.
it's working with the things that it was given. And so if we stop moving, things break down in our body. And so like that's where you said the training wheels, but that's where, so our body needs stability.
Yeah.
And so that is where the arthritis starts, because we are flat out lazy. We are not moving, right? So like this is a you thing. This isn't anybody else. This is lack of movement. So our body, being the smart thing that it is, starts arthritis because it needs to stabilize that area.
And arthritis means what? Joint irritation. Arthro is joint, itis is irritation.
So that's, but right, it's a big scary word. And when you hear that, arthritis, but we are seeing it younger and younger and younger because of lack of motion.
In fact, we just got out of a very interesting dental consult with our son yesterday. And one of the leading dentists here in Northeast Wisconsin who specializes in family care, the body is actually starting to develop extra bone in the neck because of lack of motion, lack of movement, and this all the time, looking down. And that's a serious problem, guys. Like, we're seeing this in children, which is why we're seeing degeneration starting, like arthritis, degeneration in children starting in their teens. And this is something that we've been dealing with for over 16 years at Prime Family Centers. This is why we drive and work so hard on children, and why we're pediatric based, because we know, and you've heard us say this, you've said it.
It's easier to raise a healthy family than to fix broken adults.
Thank you. I was going to mess that up and you nailed it. But that's exactly the issue here. So we're seeing a capitalistic approach to healthcare instead of a work ahead of the system, build your body up, keep it healthy. And it's kind of funny because there's a certain stigmatism to people that don't exercise. But there's a certain stigmatism to people that do exercise. And it's like, well, he's just trying to exercise. No, that leads to lifestyle. That leads to health. And like we talked about, when patients actually have degeneration and arthritis going on, they are hyper flexible. They are hyper mobile in certain areas. And that leads to even more problems.
Yeah, and I say the comment of lazy, that doesn't mean that you're necessarily overweight. Like we have some like healthy looking people with severe degeneration, severe arthritis, severe things happening within their spine. But like you said it, after all of these years, what makes our care different is, again, because we understand the capability of what the body can do. So just like a child learning to ride their bike, the training wheels are put on until they are stable to be able to ride that, and they've learned that habit, and we can take those wheels off. Our body grew and developed without those training wheels. And then ourselves, we became lazy in the lack of movement. And so our body had to put those training wheels on. So our bodies aren't meant to have these things, but our bodies are smart. And so this arthritis, this degeneration starts because of lack of movement. But it was put there, and it was put there organically. And so if we can begin to get movement and good chiropractic care and get the body to refunction, reprogram, that stuff goes away. And we've had arguments over our career with others in our profession, and the argument of, well, once you have arthritis, and other orthopedists as well, once that arthritis is there, once that degeneration is there, it's there, it's permanent. It is not.
Right. And that is something, again, that comes back to the body's ability to heal itself. We have cross-comparison studies and x-rays that show degeneration reversing. We have the body showing itself how it can change its position, change its orientation, change its curvatures. Like, it's really cool because it can actually heal like it's supposed to, and it's exactly how it's meant to do it. The other side of this, though, is that there is money involved on this. There is a different nature to this, hence the the over-prescription side of society. And there's been tremendous lawsuits that have been passed in the last 5 years to a decade with problems with opiates and different drugs being prescribed and crack down on that. But these electives, the thing is about elective is it's your choice as the patient to get these done, which at times to your insurance will be seen as non-medically necessary. And that's when you'll see a lot of these elective surgeries happen in the latter half of the year when deductibles are met, when insurances are ready to pay for things, and you'll see these things go way up. And the thing that's funny is some of these surgeries are actually needed. They are medically necessities. They are needed because we have bone sitting on a nerve, or we have discs pushing on a nerve, or we have a change in neurology due to a catastrophic failure of tissue.
Well, we're talking about like spine right now, but like how many times has somebody came in with like tummy issues, and they've gone in and it's a gallbladder? Well, you don't need that gallbladder.
Exactly.
Or your appendix.
That's the number 3 elective surgery, unnecessary surgery in the United States is a cholecystectomy, which is a removal of the gallbladder, or appendectomy, which is a removal of the appendix. Funny thing is they look a lot alike each other, and they are essential organs for your body. And so go on about the gallbladder.
But to just go ahead and say, well, you have these issues, you have these concerns, well, we can just take it out.
Yeah, we can just remove it.
In that moment, I understand the pain, the discomfort, and like how scary that can be. But we need to step back and, well, what does this look like without my gallbladder?
Well, it's a zero-sum game. If I remove one tissue, what happens? Something else has to make up for its function. That's not its function. And let me ask you this question. If you're going to the best play in New York City, on Broadway, multi-Tony winning award play, let's say it's Music Man and it's Hugh Jackman. Yet Hugh Jackman's sick that night, so you get his understudy, Hugo Sampson. Do you think he's going to do as good a job as Hugh Jackman singing?
Probably not.
Hell no, right? But he's his understudy, so we're getting the second best. Do you really want to sit there for a second best performance the rest of your life, knowing that all you want back is Hugh? So why would I have my gallbladder taken out when the liver then has to make up for it, and the pancreas has to make up for it? So now what happens? Now I have 2 organs performing one organ's essential function, which then will lead to what? If I've got an organ working too much, it gets tired. Exactly. It gets burnt out. And now we're going down the path of having liver function issues, pancreas function issues, small intestine issues, large intestine problems. And that's just the gallbladder. When what really caused the gallbladder problem in the first place? Diet, nutrition, stasis of the liver not detoxifying like it's supposed to, maybe not eating a lot of really good methylating vegetables to help the liver detox and change its stasis, which then helps with the gallbladder. Like, okay, not a good situation. Elective surgery, take it out. Now, we have had some patients that have ended up having to get their gallbladder removed because the gallbladder is shot. It's petrified. It doesn't work anymore. It's full of stones.
And then in that case, right, gallbladder needed to come out.
Yes.
But that's where that stops. Gallbladder comes out. Nobody teaches them or lets them know, okay, this is actually what the gallbladder did. So now we have to like use this to replace the thing that the gallbladder did. And that's that missing piece that, okay, maybe this had to happen, or we chose electively to have this done. But okay, well, how can I prevent something else in the future? How can I support my other organs? There isn't that conversation, right? We took something out, but then we didn't think about, well, what was that for?
Right. Well, let me ask you a question. What are me and you both missing?
My appendix.
Exactly. My appendix is gone. So is yours. Was yours fully inflamed and had it bursted when they removed it?
Just about.
Just about, right?
Yep.
Mine was inflamed too. And I was in a ton of pain, and so were you. If your appendix bursts, is it life-threatening?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, right? Infections everywhere. But why did the infection start in the first place? Why did the appendix all of a sudden get full of bacteria and bugs?
It was upset, and I can guarantee my liver was sluggish.
Your liver was sluggish, and your GI wasn't working well. Your colon wasn't working well. And this is something that we don't have the right bacteria in place. We don't have the right load in place. And that directly correlates to the low back as well. It's incredible how this is all neurologically tied together. But even more so is that the appendix is considered as the nuclear fallout shelter for the microbiome of the gut.
My gosh, something's happening. That's where I want to be. That's where I want to be.
And if you look at where it's placed in the body, it is lower right quadrant before you go into the ascending transverse and descending colon and poop everything out. So why wouldn't I have the fallout shelter being the farthest place away from fermented, broke down food ready to be put in a toilet or garbage can or diaper?
It's important.
It's a safe place. But all of a sudden now, if we remove that safe place, what happens? All that bacteria is exposed. All that unhealthy bacteria can eat away and break down the good bacteria. We can get a breakout of C. diff, which can be life-threatening. Like, these are all things in place. But if we would just choose to change the way our nutrition is and really help our body out in prevention and help it move through these things naturally and heal how it's supposed to, now we get this massive change. Massive change. And the funny thing is elective low back surgeries, which most of them are considered. Now, we just had a patient that went through a fusion. That is not an elective surgery. That is a full-on medical necessity. But is he doing everything he can before and after surgery to help his body heal and get back to where it belongs? Absolutely.
Our body has limitations.
Right. So, just like this, if I were to ask you, if we went and ripped a motor out of a car, and we broke it all down to redo it. And let's say in typical Dr. Skip Wyss fashion, we put all that motor back together and there's 2 screws left over.
I was going to say, yep. Shit, I don't want to drive that.
You don't want to. I might try it. In fact, I might be trying it right now. But the thing is that it's not meant to work with less parts. And if those 2 screws were vital to how that entire engine works, what happens to the engine over time?
It's going to wear out.
It's going to
wear out
blow
quicker.
up.
Like, I'm thinking alignment. I'm thinking,
a lot, right?
All of the parts.
So we weren't meant to work with less parts. Our body's designed to heal itself. It's designed to put itself together. And I want you guys to keep things in mind. This is a public service announcement that when we're offered elective surgeries, we just need to think twice. And was there maybe an alternative to that could help your body heal and get back to exactly how it's supposed to?
The best line that I've taught all of our mamas that as they're going into labor or they're kind of unsure, it's like, you know what? Let me think about that.
Let me think about it. Let me see how I feel about it.
But that gives you time. You're not in a pressured situation. You didn't say yes. You didn't say no. You didn't consent to anything. But it's, let me think about it.
And they can't say nothing. That's a big deal. So, Dr. Julie, got anything else you want to add in this week?
Let me think about it.
No? Okay. Look us up if you have any information. Leave some comments below. Give us that big old thumb smash. Subscribe to what we're doing and pass this out to as many people as you can. It helps us reach the world, which is our ultimate goal. So, take care, everybody. Have a great day. Bye now.